Welcome back, everyone. We're going over all the legendary gear because we're about to farm legendary gear like crazy. And of course, we're not going to do it right here. We're going to go to the spreadsheet as always with all the numbers. And I've got so many numbers from beta. We're talking about Asta here, Sutha, Erich, with all different gear sets to see who does the most damage. Like what gear set does the most damage. Even mix and match 2-piece gear sets instead of the 3-piece gear set. We've got gear in Grave of Venom, Grave of Curse, and Grave of Rot to talk about. And the reason why we want to talk about it right now, because in 5 days from now, we're going to have a crazy increase in drop rate. If you don't know this, it's for the whole entire season. 5 days from now, when you farm 7, you would normally only get fragments. Now you're going to get a chance to get a whole piece of gear on 7 along with those fragments. And you're going to get more fragments after that. On 8, you're going to get whole gear drops. Sometimes I think multiple whole gear drops, and on 9, you're going to get multiple whole gear drops. So we're shooting for 9. We can do 8 right now with free-to-play teams. If you need to know how to do that, go back through my videos. Really simple. Into the depths of the spreadsheet, you can see Asta's here. We've got Sutha and we've got Erich. This is just for the DPS ones. We have all the rest down here. I've got them ranked for you. The ones for damage that I tested on the test dummy. There's the gear. You can see the gear that we had on them, what their crit rate, what their critical damage was. All the time, they always had 100% crit rate, so we could get even numbers. We're not trying to compare these heroes against each other. We're trying to compare these heroes and what gear does the most damage. And Heart of the Gambler with any hero that can do multiple damage hits. It doesn't even have to be something like Asta where he fires off multiple arrows. Even somebody like Erich with his ultimate where it hits 5 times. It'll hit one target 5 times. Each of those 5 hits with the Heart of the Gambler gets a chance to proc this true damage. For Heart of the Gambler, 15% additional attack, 20% additional attack speed, and then 30% chance when you deal damage to do 5% of the target's current HP as true damage, up to 200% of your attack. That means their current HP. So when they're higher, when the bosses are higher or the targets you're attacking are higher, this derivative damage will be more. So when the boss gets down to like 10% HP, this amount's going to be less. But it is a huge amount, and it's a lot of constant damage, especially on guys that do multiple hits. Like Asta will fire out additional arrows. When he fires out those additional arrows, all those hits get a chance, a 30% chance to do this true damage. When Erich does his ultimate, it's 5 attacks on the ultimate. 5 meteors coming down. That means that he's got 5 chances to hit that 30% to do this true damage. So even with Erich, Heart of the Gambler is pulling in 2.4 million, almost 2.5 million. Whereas if we look at the Platinum Knight, 1.7. It's a massive, massive difference. And Sutha, she's going to crit, right? Whenever she crits, she gets additional attacks. So she's going to do much more with Heart of the Gambler than any of these other sets. So if it's somebody that just does not even additional, like I said, not even additional fancy attacks, but if their one attack hits 3 times or 5 times, then they're going to do better with Heart of the Gambler. And that's all about PvE. Even in PvP, they're going to do really well. If it's somebody that attacks fast, you get those Dauntless in there and they're attacking extremely fast. They're giving each other attack speed. Then Heart of the Gambler, because they're attacking all the time. Any kind of attack they do, they got a chance to proc this. It's massive. It's massive on the Vortex boss. It's massive on all the other bosses we're going to fight. It's great even in PvP if you have somebody that's really attacking fast and crazy. It's truly the best set out there. Now, I haven't been able to test somebody who just has a 1 basic attack. They do their battle skill, boom, 1 hit, 1 number. They do their ultimate, 1 hit, 1 number. Their basic attack is like 2.5 seconds, so it's not a fast basic attack. Maybe then something will do better for them, because down here you see the legendary gear sets. We've got the Imperial Executioner. You can see you get crit rate for a 3-piece set and ignore 18% of defense. So I need to test this on something that has high defense. What can we really test this on? Because Heart of the Gambler blows away Vortex boss. If the Vortex boss has the high defense, maybe, I don't know. I just don't know where we're going to be able to test this, but we are going to be able to farm a lot of legendary gear in the next few days. So I will test it. So you know I'm going to test it and come out with a new spreadsheet and we'll have some new information. But currently, it's all about that Heart of the Gambler or 2 different 2-piece sets, because Platinum Knight looks interesting. You get 15% attack, you get 30 enlightenment, which most people don't really need. But then once you fire off your ultimate, or when your ultimate actually gets fully charged, you get 30% additional damage for 10 seconds. 30% additional damage on your ultimate, that's really good damage, especially in PvP to get that burst damage. I'm going to hit somebody really hard, 30% additional for 10 seconds. That sounds nice. But in my testing right here with the Platinum Knight set, If we go up to Asta and look at what he's got the Imperial Executioner plus the Troll set. And it's giving him this damage compared to the Platinum Knight, which is here, which is a little bit lower. Well, it was kind of varied because Asta has a chance to fire out different projectiles depending on if there's frost up there or not. So it was close. It was like right at it, sometimes even more than it, sometimes lower than it with him. And I don't know if I did that test with anybody else. I've got it right here with Troll and Imperial Executioner again. And he did 166. And with Platinum right there, 1.7. Okay, so the Platinum depends on your ultimate too, right? If your ultimate is a long ultimate. None of these guys are booked, so all their ultimates like 23 seconds. So I do believe that the Platinum Knight set would be next. Like, would be good. Especially, I could move it to S-Class if your ultimate is short. Because then we're getting a 30% increase in damage for 10 seconds. If you've got a 16-second ultimate, all these guys are probably running at a 23-second ultimate right now, so it doesn't look that good. But at a lower ultimate, we're going to get much more use of this 30% because it's going to happen more often for 10 seconds. And if we have somebody that's really cool, that's got that short cooldown of like 16 seconds, then yeah, that's going to be amazing for them. So I'll leave it at S. The Wrath of the Troll gives us 15% attack plus the 20 skill haste. And we're probably used to 20 skill haste with our Goblin set on the Epic gear. So if you want to get this 20 skill haste, it's here, and then your basic abilities heal you. But if you want to get 20 skill haste plus another 20 skill haste, if you're used to that, you could always get a 2-piece of the Troll and then come down here and get a 2-piece of the Brotherhood Spirit. That way you'd have 40 accuracy, the 20 skill haste, and then the additional 20 skill haste that you're used to with 2 different 2-piece sets. So that's not a bad idea. Plus you got legendary gear, much better main stats, much better substat hits, much higher percentages for those. So that's a way to go if you want to get that skill haste to kind of get back to that 4-piece Goblin set you might currently be running. That's Grave of Venom for all the damage sets. We have Executioner there, ignoring 18% defense plus 10% crit. We have this one with the attack speed, and then we get the derivative damage with the Gambler. We've got Enlightenment here, and then we get that full recharge of our ultimate. We get 30% additional damage for 10 seconds. And then we've got Troll, which just gives us healing, but it's also got that skill haste in there if we want to get to our skills faster. Going down to Grave of Curse, this is all about our tank. We get that 15% HP, 15% defense, plus any damage that our allies take, we take 15% of that. Now, this is pretty interesting because the way it reads to me, that when we have this on, even though we're taking 15% of all the damage our allies take, we are then taking 15% less damage. Is that true? Is that what's happening? Because that's really cool for us on Grave of Venom against the Harpy, because we can make it to where only the tank is taking damage and nobody else in our team, well, except for that one Wisp hitting the lowest HP person, nobody on our team is really taking damage. So bringing this gear in on the Harpy on stage 9 is going to be our best play, because we're going to have way better stats and we're going to be taking 15% less damage, and nobody behind us is really going to be taking that much damage to go over to him. So this is amazing. Radiance of the Blue Oak, the 3-piece set, we get Enlightenment, we get HP. If you do your ultimate, you heal by 20% of your max HP. I mean, I think we're going to come up with some good ideas for that. We're going to be able to put it on a 3-piece set on somebody like our healer that we just want to keep alive, and we don't want to have to keep micromanaging our heals, or just keeping our healers alive, right? If I can put this 3-piece set on my healer and she's going to heal by 20%, I'm thinking of Hexandra, that's why I said she, 20% of her max HP along with healing everybody else, well, that just makes her tankier. Maybe I can put her in the front line as my tank and take out a tank, and then I'm putting in another hero. Maybe. Grave of Rot, we've got interesting gear because that's where we get all of our accuracy and all of our resistance. If we really want to go high resistance with Grave of Rot, I would do 2-piece set of the legendary for accuracy and resistance and go with a 2-piece set of the epic for accuracy and resistance. Then you're getting 80 accuracy, you're getting 120 resistance. That's if we need to get that really high resistance for Ravatrix over in the Fey Meander, the Lady of Greeneries. If we need to get that up, that's a good set to put together, but this set is pretty cool. The Holy Hunter will give us accuracy, resistance, but then a 20% chance whenever we deal damage to inflict a stun for 3 seconds. That sounds crazy. Because if it's any time we deal damage, then it's kind of acting like Heart of the Gambler. If it didn't say skill move, it's not like I got to do a battle skill and an ultimate skill. It's saying anytime we deal damage. So if it's calculating it for somebody who does like 5 hits on their ultimate, or Varesh who does 3 hits to everybody on his ultimate, does he then have 3 chances at a 20% chance to do a 3-second stun? And there's no like cooldown on this stun. I don't even think that there is a cooldown for when you're crowd controlled. Like when I'm CC'd in arena, is there some kind of immunity period, like 2 seconds, 1 second, where I can't be CC'd again? I don't think there is. So a whole team of this stunning everybody up would be pretty cool to have. Especially going through high levels of Fey Meander, going through high levels of the trials, this might be the go-to gear. If we put this on a couple people, 3 people who are doing a lot of area of effect damage that hits multiple times, if it's working that way, then that's going to be the only way probably that we can get through high floors of Fey Meander and the trials. That might be the go-to gear for that. I'm pretty sure it's going to be. Brotherhood of the Spirit gives us the accuracy, the skill haste, and then after we ultimate, we give everybody on our team 15% additional attack for 10 seconds. That sounds really good. Really good for a support, really good for somebody that you don't need crazy damage from because they're just getting skill haste and accuracy. Even if it is somebody that does a lot of damage, I probably wouldn't use this gear unless I had crazy main stats, crazy sub stats, but still 15% additional attack for 10 seconds. You put it on some support that has a low cooldown on their ultimate, getting a lot of attack for 10 seconds for the whole entire team. You can't beat that set. That's a really good set to have. Vortex boss everywhere to increase everybody's damage. That's all the sets we have. There's really not a lot. I don't see a lot of different combinations yet that we can make. We're going to need to play with all of these. I can't wait to really get my hands on this and see what we can do, see what really gives us the most damage in all different situations. You guys let me know. Let me know what you think about the gear so far. Let me know of any kind of combinations you want to do with the gear. Maybe there's some heroes you want to play with all these different gear sets that you think will work out really well. Let us know down below in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Appreciate your time. I will see you all in a video soon.